Hello, let's work on a mobile app, I suppose, with Flutter. I have a gender sentiment app that I started sketching out yesterday. For a bit of context, I'm a volunteer at a community organization, and the organization's mission is to help entrepreneurs connect around their ideas and develop skills and hopefully ultimately succeed in their endeavors, by building community and synergies and these types of things. One of the initiatives at this organization is to promote gender inclusivity and diversity. And in order to support this initiative, I'm working with a small data team to kind of say, well, all right, well, where are we at? How do we baseline this? And then how do we measure this over time? That way we can start experimenting with certain changes and ideas and see how they impact, how they correlate with perhaps changes in the gender distribution and sentiment of visitors and participants in those activities and events. It's kind of abstract, I understand. Having a bit of a difficulty myself formulating the idea, but we have two metrics essentially we're considering. One is gender, which is non-binary self-identity, and the initial focus, I think, in the organization was to make sure that there's a good ratio of men and women, but I think we really need to kind of be a bit more flexible with how we allow people to gender self-identify. So at the very least, we're just kind of including a non-binary option while still trying to keep things very simple. So that's kind of what we mean by gender. It's not the same as sex. It's about identity, and you can't really ascertain this by looking at somebody or from their birth certificate or other kind of it's really something you have to ask, and it's changing over time too. People can be gender fluid, but we don't want to overcomplicate this. So right now I'm hoping that I realize there's already gender bias in the way these are sorted, and we'll fix that. I'm going to sort these alphabetically as if it's a continuum. Not a continuum, it's how they're sorted by default here. But the second aspect I want to get at here is called sentiment. And it's essentially the feeling that you took away, how you feel after participating in the community. This is a place where you can just kind of stop by and hang out, randomly, do some work, some study. Also, there's a lot of events that are organized, training sessions, workshops, presentations, pitch practice, all sorts of things happening, and other community organizations are using the space as well. But generally, you come away from that experience with a bit of a feeling. And we've been using a thing to measure, apparently, are you happy or not on the way out of the door? And we're sort of borrowing on that idea, but not casting it as happy or not. It's about your sentiment. How was your experience? Did you have an awful experience, a bad experience, a good or great experience? So it's a continuum, but you sort of have to pick good or bad, but with a little bit of subtlety there. So it's, not just binary as well. So this is the project. This is running locally right now. And the stage of the project overall is, I would say, alpha. It's just an idea. And I'm going to get a basic prototype sketched out for feedback. And if people think it's generally a good idea, I've got some further steps that we can take collaboratively to deploy this app in a way like a kiosk. essentially, so people can very conveniently make their selection. Boink, boink, dink, dink, boop, bop, boop. And once you've made your selection, it'll persist that in the database. That's what we're going to work on today. And then, it'll be by a door in some convenient location, or you can anonymously and privately, semi-anonymous, but I'm not sure how gender and timestamp can be linked to an individual. It would be pretty hard to link that to an individual, given that there would be many people potentially attending the space simultaneously. So I think this is fairly anonymous. We need to be cautious and careful about that, though. It's semi-sensitive, but also one note on this: the data will be persisted locally in the app storage. So it's not. I'm not planning to put it in a cloud storage at this point. I'm trying to figure out how to persist the data first. So I haven't ruled out cloud storage like Firestore or something, but on further research, my general idea is that this will be running on an Android tablet kiosk mode, if we can do that, and there will be some way it's mounted securely in a convenient location. All of this is just alpha. It's just an idea, needing initial feedback. So without repeating myself, let's go ahead and get into the code. So I've got the app is published on GitHub. If you're wanting to download the source code, you can go to github.com/flutterfriends/gendersentiment. So please, on YouTube, before you ask in the comments, please leave a comment, that's fine. But I get these comments about where's the code a lot. It's why I show it on the screen. It's so you can find this here. It's a bit of a redundant question. When it's here on github.com/flutterfriends/gendersentiment. And let's go ahead and organize the displays just slightly. So we have this browser in the top left, the app in the, or how are we gonna do this? Let's think here. Actually, I usually like to have the code on the left and the stuff on the right. So let me just get this set up here. I'm using a tool called Magnet for Mac. This can be in the lower right, actually, bottom right. It's sort of like a console. And this is the app running in the top right. There we go. It lets me have this windowed mode. It's very convenient. I realize my face is in the way. So I'm gonna think about that layout. Maybe this will be in the lower right. This can be in the upper right. Because the chatbot I'll be using and stuff can go here, and there we go. Now you can see the app running. Gender sentiment kiosk. So let's add persistence. So this will be a feature pull request. Now I don't know how to do this. That's the common theme in engineering and game development and all this, is you usually have a goal and something you want to achieve, but you don't know how to get there. You have to figure it out. Now I don't want to just jump to the first thing that comes to mind, but given the goal of anonymity and preserving privacy, I think the persistence should be a local persistence. So that gives us at least a constraint. And honestly, I hope it's really simple to implement, not going to require a lot of hoops to jump through. That's QFlight and Hive and So just asking GPT to help me with a little bit of this research early on. So for Flutter applications where data needs to be stored locally on the user's device, let me know if this is too loud. The microphone might be too loud. I can turn it down a bit. I should just turn it down a bit so we don't clip. I think I had boosted, yeah, quite a lot of output gain here. My bad. Should be in the yellow zone. I think yellow zone about 17, 14 when I'm speaking like this. There we go. Much better. 15, 14. Hey there, testing 1, 2, 3. Too loud. Testing 1, 2, 3. I should have done this off stream. Hey, testing 1, 2, 3. All right, closing it. So we got SQLite and Hive. Okay, so let's check out the pros and cons. Relational database that stores data in a file on the device. Now, this is not relational data. I don't foresee this app needing the relational data, but simple structured data format would be good. Migrations would be good in case we need to change it over time, but that's probably an extra bonus. So I'm seeing in my mind's eye, I'm going to output as a CSV, so structured columnar data, but it can be stored internally as objects or something like that. So we have gender identity, column, sentiment, column, and then a timestamp column when you submitted that. That way we can do some historical analysis. We can correlate it with events and other happenings, time series, we made this change to the event format. Did that have an impact? Did that increase diversity? We had this campaign going on at this month. What happened post that campaign? So we'll need timestamp. And even the date time, the full time, because there could be times of the day patterns that emerge. I don't know quite, what the analysis will be, but I think we would want the granularity down to the hour. So I'm just going to collect a timestamp basically. Yeah, I don't know. So that's it. 3 columns, 3 attributes in a sort of a document database perhaps. But okay, so SQLite, interactive SQLite databases. It's ideal for complex data structures that benefit from relational database features like SQL queries. Now, SQL queries, yeah, that's a bit of a good one here. I like SQL, but again, thinking of this, the immediate needs of the application is just a bucket to put some data in. I'm not going to be doing advanced queries or views, probably. There will be an export feature that allows us to take it into a data analyst tool, but I don't see this at the immediate step as evolving into an analysis tool as well. I think we have better tools that are purpose built for that. Okay, Boost, best for structured data storage, complex queries, and when you need ACID compliance. Probably, I need structured data storage, at least objects, but I'm not going to need complex queries to my knowledge. If we need that, we'll address that when we need that. And ACID compliance, I mean, it's running on a local machine. It's a prototype. I don't think we need super strict. Okay, so Hive, lightweight and fast key value database. This is a bit of a challenge for me because I don't need the key. I just need the value. It's a structured dictionary or whatever. I just need the value. Written in pure Dart. It's not based on SQLite, which makes it faster for simple CRUD operations. The key could be the timestamp, but yeah, I think the key is an extra. I can't fit that into my mental model. I just need a bucket to put objects and query those objects. Not even to get the objects for a CSV export, you would need a query. Select all. Designed to be easy to use with minimal setup. So maybe key value could work. I would have to figure out what the keys would be. Suitable for simple and semi-structured data. Quick reads and writes are crucial. I'm not too performance-oriented. Shared preferences. Used for storing simple data and key value pairs, not going to be what we're going to use. ISAR, newer database option similar to Hive, but supports asynchronous queries and has more advanced features like indexing queries and ACID transactions. Useful for applications that require scalability and local storage with features similar to traditional databases. Maybe. ObjectBox is a high-performance NoSQL database with strong ACID compliance. It supports relations and is optimized for speed, making it a good option for mobile devices. Best for applications that need to handle complex data models efficiently on mobile devices. All right. MMKV, key value store developed by WeChat. High performance is efficient rewrite. Again, I would have to figure out the key value paradigm here. SemBest, a simple embedded application store, is a NoSQL persistent store object database solution inspired by IndexedDB and WebSQL. Stores data as JSON, allows complex queries. Suitable for applications that need a simple yet powerful and flexible local storage solution. You know, this is sounding like the best one, but there's trade-offs here. But let me get a little bit more help from my GPT assistant. Gender identity. You know, like date time, basically. But that may be a keyword, so what would that be? Recorded at, seen at. Enum of strings. I don't know how to annotate this as a pseudocode. Visited at. How you spell approximately? So yeah, we're basically not worried about scalability. I don't want to have to fiddle with keys. I don't necessarily need relationships or any other really fancy features like ACID guarantees. Probably don't need migrations at this point. I have to think about that. And those, when you need them, then you need them. We're just going to export the data. We're going to input the data, primarily writes, and an occasional bulk query to export everything to CSV. We have a very simple schema, and let's see what we get. So So then the ask, I should have just not asked, but let's see. Given the needs of the specific Dart project to store structured data with a straightforward schema and without complex querying requirements, I would recommend considering the following two primary options for your Flutter application. This is what I was hoping I'd narrow it down a bit. Hive might be ideal for simplicity, easy to use. It's fast, no key concerns, really. Hive manages its own keys internally if you don't want to specify them. Allowing you to simply append records as they come in. Okay, that's basically what I'm after. Local storage, it's stored locally, yeah. And you can export it. While Hive doesn't support SQL, exporting the CSV can be achieved by reading the records in Dart and then formatting them as CSV. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I would use Dart. And then SQLite might also be suitable. Structured data handling, robust. Local storage, export ease. SQL databases are inherently structured, so extracting the data to CSV format is relatively easy. Familiarity, yeah, with SQL, I am a bit. That's a big concept. Key considerations. Hive is particularly suitable if you prefer ease of use and speed with minimal setup. It's non-relational, but perfectly capable of handling data as described. SQLite is a good choice if you anticipate any future need for more complex data operations. Prefer the robustness of SQL environment, albeit with slightly more complex setup than Hive. Given the scale of the data, 30 to 300 or 10 to 100, on that order, and the nature of queries, most data dumps for CSV export, both options are well within the performance limits and would work efficiently for your application. Hive might edge out slightly on simplicity and speed for inserts, which seems to be a priority in your use case. So I think that's a pretty good summary. Let's go for it. Let's try Hive. I did the dry run with Hive yesterday, but I realized the scope of the project was already getting too big. I needed to just commit to the initial thing and get that on GitHub, right? And there's already some tweaks I just realized a moment ago, but these I should sort alphabetically. Let's just do that. Let's just do that while I'm on here. Alphabetical sort. It's I don't mean to be cliche, but I'm going to sort these alphabetically. Yep, and then this is a continuum. So this is not a continuum, so alphabetical sorting happens to work. And this is a continuum, even color-coded continuum. And we're going to need to work on accessibility here. I realize that some of these colors are not so contrasting and others are. So basically, when you're working with other people, keep your work focused in small pull requests so that it's easy to review. Since I'm working alone, actually, see, I'm in the add persistence branch and I'm making changes. I'm not just going to be super strict. I'm the one who's reviewing this. I'll create a draft. The goal here is to add persistence, though. Thanks. Let's try out Hive. I'm just going to say that statement and see what it offers. Great choice. Hive is excellent for your needs, given its ease of use and performance. To get started with Hive in your Flutter project, we're going to add it as a dependency. Hive and Hive Flutter. So let's do that. And I think pubspec YAML. That's a dev dependency. So the dependencies are here, Hive. And then we need to, that's it. Okay, we need to initialize Hive. So in our, one-liner, in our main Dart, we'll initialize it. And I need to import it, otherwise that won't work. But let's see if I get the import help here. Now Flutter's, I'm just going to get the import here. Flutter's, what am I thinking here? So here we go. That works. There's these squiggles is helping me with style. I'll try to do those, like these enhancements as we go, but I don't know why we're getting these squiggles or what's the correct way of doing that. And I should probably rename this symbol. And something like that. See it, and it gets it. Wow. And the state and everything. Really nice. I want to refactor this code. It's a bit big and blobby right now. There's probably some sort of widgets I could extract out, but it's not the main focus. So let's make sure it's still running. Small refactor, keeping track of the state still works. Internal state, all the button, and it should have a 10-second reset. So let's just commit this change initially to the pub spec. Add Hive. I think it's capitalized, I don't know. We'll need to get the Hive docs open, small refactor, rename app. It's, I'm gonna glum them together, but yeah, that's probably not a good practice. So what are the Flutter Hive Dart package, or the Hive Dart package? I guess it's not unique to Flutter, and it's a lightweight, blazingly fast key value database. So hopefully it'll take care of the keys for me. Written in pure Dart, inspired by Bitcast, documentation and samples. Let's go there. I need to add that to my pub spec, and we need the dev dependencies. Okay, so we can see here GPT's not quite got it. It missed a bit. So let's do that. My dev dependencies. Hive generator version. Yeah, the above version should be okay. Before you start, consider using ISAR, a Flutter database by the author of Hive that is superior in every way. What the heck? This is feeling a bit like JavaScript. This I like. All right. All right. So we're gonna do ISAR. Ah man, this feels like JavaScript. In terms of like things always moving and you have to move on to the next thing. But oh wait, this is better. I've redone it. Okay. Let's keep ChatGPT on the same page. And see what ChatGPT says. Before you start, consider using ISAR. Yeah. It's true that ISAR is another database option created by the same author as Hive. ISAR is designed to be an improved version addressing some of the limitations and performance bottlenecks of Hive. And it might be an even better fit for your project depending on your specific needs. Here's a quick, and I think it might have mentioned ISAR earlier, but again, I don't know this ecosystem. SQLite, Hive, those are the two candidates it narrowed down to. Symblast. It did mention it is a newer database option similar to Hive, but supports asynchronous queries. Yeah, it just didn't recommend it in the end. But hey, it's already showing us how to do it. So add ISAR to your project. So let's roll with this. Make sure. Whatever. Optional for web support. Right now I'm building it in the web. This is a bit, let's think about this for a second. It's running in the web. So I think I'm going to target like Android, but while I'm developing, I believe we need that. And then we need that. So English is localized, and how well is it documented? Okay, let's get started. Quick start. Add the dependencies. ISAR flutter libs. ISAR connect path provider. Actually, let's do this. Let's do these commands because I don't know the versions. And then I'm just going to have to clean up main.dart real quick. So we don't need this import anymore. We don't need to initialize Hive. I hope I don't have to do this every 6 months, switch out the, well, this is a small project. And, but yeah, this stuff can really eat at you. So we're going to do that, resolving the dependencies, and then add these to the dev dependencies. I may have to hop off here. I think the kids are home from the playground, but this has been a good live stream, and I hear them coming in the door, so have a great day.